everybody, so today we're going to do a reading on the state of the world, and so I'm going to connect in with the world consciousness to get a feel for how things are going, what the energy update is for us in that regard. So I won't be connecting with the earth, but all of our consciousness across the world instead. So basically what I'm getting is that these are some really stressful and intense times, and we already see that here in America with regards to our government, but nothing in our world operates as a silo, so something that happens over here actually ripples through in other parts of the world. And on one level, on the surface level, we can already see that because whatever happens in the news tends to get shared with other countries just so that we're updated on what else is going on around the world. And so anything that's happening here is being shown to the rest of the world. So in that way, you can say that we don't operate in a silo, and it's not just stressful for those of us living here and having to deal with it, but it's stressful for others around the world having to see what's going on in our part of the world and then having to understand how that's all going to play out for them. So there is that level, but then we also don't work in silos on an energetic level either. And so all the stresses and the intensity of the situation that we're dealing with here is also going to have its effect in other parts of the world. Maybe not immediately, but there is a ripple effect that goes on. And the way I see that ripple effect playing out is right now, where I live, there's a lot of energetic, disheveling going on with regards to the political landscape and the government and just intercountry relations and all of that. And all of that is really to help us bring light to, corruption that goes on in the world that we can sometimes be very blind to because it's not always in our faces or it's really well hidden. And that is what the ripple effect is going to create in other parts of the world. I think other parts are a little bit more aware of some of that corruption that goes on, but I think that how it'll manifest for them is a lot more of the resistance kind of rising to the top and really pushing for change, and the masses really coming together and wanting something better for themselves in their countries. And so I think everything that's playing out right now is going to turn into more of that. And we've seen that in the past, and I think we're going to see more of that going forward. But that's going to take a little bit of time. I think between now and the end of this year, I think it's only going to get a little bit more intense, at least in this part of the world, because the end of the year is different timings during the year bring about different energies within us. Whenever we start the new year, we all have our New Year's resolutions, and we have all these goals that we have set out for the year, what we want to accomplish before the year's over. We're excited, we're pumped, we think this is going to be it. And so the beginning of a year is full of that kind of energy. It's more upbeat, more optimistic. We can see a brighter future for ourselves. Once we get to the end of a year, or at the end of a quarter, for example, I know in the sales world, whenever you hit the end of a quarter, that's when you're like, oh my God, all those goals that I had for the beginning of the quarter, I haven't done them. I need to power through so I can meet my number. That's the same thing that happens at the end of the year. That's when we're like, oh my gosh, a year has gone by almost. I need to kick into gear. I need to do things and be accomplished. And so I can come out stronger at the end of the year. So that's kind of the energy that we're in right now, going towards the end of the year. But I want to point out the word stronger. At the end of a quarter, at the end of a time frame, we want to come out stronger because we're kind of pushed. We maybe realize that we've procrastinated. But the word stronger can mean something different to different people. For some people, it can mean, I want to make my sales number. It can mean, I want to work out before the holidays so I at least can feel like I put in something during the year for that. I want to start eating healthier before the holidays so I can enjoy my holidays and start the new year with good habits again. Stronger can mean that, and usually that's what it means. But when it comes to some of the bigger aspects of our world, like politics or just relationships, I guess, on a bigger level, it can mean I want to create a whole bunch of havoc, because to me, that is success. Because I want to create a lot of distractions, a lot of havoc, a lot of intensity, because then everybody's running around going crazy, and I am in control because I created that crazy situation, and they have no idea what's going on because they're all distracted. And so I have the peace of mind to make my next chess move and stay in control and stay one step ahead of everybody else. So that's another term that stronger can mean for somebody who is more of that control mindset. And so I think that the end of the year may end up being, instead of slowing down, we may be ramping up towards a lot more intensity and stress as we close out the year. And the other aspect of how nothing in our world really works in silos, and that includes on the energetic level, is that means that if on the bigger scale we are basically going through a lot of experiences that are causing us to evaluate how we go about running our countries, running our world, making us more aware about the corruption that's there, the loopholes, having dictator-like people in positions of power in governments that are not dictatorships, and then them fighting with other dictators, and just this whole state that we're in, basically being run by people who have a need to control others in situations for their own benefit, and who are signing away sometimes their own power to other people who have more power or other dictators in an effort to gain some control over their own lives or their own mistakes or whatever their personal situation may be. And all that stuff that's happening on this bigger scale, again, it doesn't happen in a silo. And so we are all, as a collective, having elements of this in our own lives. And so I think this is also a really good time for us to really think about our own lives and where are we cutting corners? Where are we denying truths about ourselves that are being presented to ourselves and calling it fake news? Where are we trying to control others in an effort to make ourselves feel better or more worthy or more powerful? And where are we giving up our control to others in an effort to get the same feelings? I don't know if I just repeated myself, but where are we also trying to control others? Where are we allowing our insecurities to get the best of us and allowing us to maybe do things that we're not proud of and act in those corrupt ways? And I'm not saying that the scale of like the level of corruption that's going on at the bigger scale is equal to the level of corruption that's going on within your lives. I think that for the most part, everybody is a good person, and I don't think that they are comparable, but I'm just saying that these dynamics that play out on the bigger scale are also playing out on our individual levels as well. And it's just an opportunity for us to evaluate ourselves, especially as we come to the end of the year and want to start figuring out what our New Year's resolutions are going to be for the next year. This is a good time to really take a good assessment of what are the loopholes that we've been working around in our own lives and in ourselves, and what are we denying as a truth about ourselves because we can't really accept it or it doesn't fit into the version of reality that we want it to be, and so we can't heal from it. Because if you deny the truths that you're being told about yourself and act like it doesn't exist, but it keeps coming back, then there's an aspect of you that you're not really addressing that if you did, you'd be able to heal yourself from and be able to find a lot more worth within yourself about. And just where are we trying to control others? Where are we allowing others to take control of us? Where are we giving up our power so that we can feel better about ourselves, or we think that's a way to get what we want, or we think that's a way that they will accept us for our mistakes? Like, where is this manifesting in our own lives so that we can become better as individuals? And then because we are a collective consciousness, as we improve and as we observe what's going on and as we want better for ourselves, then we can affect consciousness at the greater level, at the world consciousness level, at the political level, the economic level, and we can start making shifts there as well. And the responsibility for the shifts are not on any one person, but we can really play with this dynamic and live in our own power and affect the energetic landscape for everybody if we all kind of just, take a look at our lives, and which we're going to do anyways at the end of the year when we want to build out our New Year's resolutions. So yeah, that's what I would say is there's a lot of stress and intensity going on right now, and it can just be really difficult to watch and just put us in this place of what are we going to do? Is this going to turn out okay? Are we going to fall apart? And I don't think we are. I think that we are going to be okay. I just think that it takes some time, and that during that time, the best way to make use of that time is to kind of improve ourselves and take our focus from the stress of what's going on there and being bought into that version and thinking that that's how it's always going to be, and then not being able to see a better reality because we're just like inundated with that kind of information at us all the time, and just take that time to be by ourselves and just kind of evaluate ourselves. And I don't mean that when we evaluate ourselves it should be like I'm a controlling person and these are like I don't think it should be a way that we beat ourselves up or just put ourselves down. It's just really observing where we're at and just seeing the mirroring effect that's going on, and then deciding to change it, and or deciding just to be aware of it and accepting it for what it is, because that's all that you really need to do. And the moment you accept it, you can free yourself from it and live more empowered lives yourselves. And then there's the added benefit that it'll change all the consciousness for everybody else. So I think I'm kind of in rambling mode now. So I will leave you guys with that. The state of the world is a little stressful right now, and it will be for a little while, but it is going to get better. And try to use that time to just reflect on yourselves and focus on your own lives and making that better, and not getting too stressed out by all the news in the air. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.